Award-winning ProPublica reporter David McSwain tweeted these photos this week. They're just a glimpse of what he's been up to the past couple of years. As COVID shut down, the world shut down in April of 2020. He says he decided to follow the money. He found himself in a private jet with a federal contractor who was completely unqualified to deliver on the $35 million federal contract he had just landed for masks.
He would visit a warehouse in Houston where a former telemarketer with a history of fraud paid temp workers to make useless test kits for FEMA. And there's a lot more in his new book. It's called Pandemic Inc., Chasing the Capitalists and Thieves Who Got Rich While We Got Sick. David joins us this morning. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So how did this happen that people that really weren't vetted were contracted for million-dollar contracts to do things that, make masks and get all of these things?
Well, we were so ill-prepared when COVID hit, and that was sort of exacerbated by the Trump administration's denial. We had something like 1% of what we needed in the national strategic stockpile, including masks, gloves, things like that. And because we were so far behind, by the time the Trump administration caught up to it, the national strategy really became just shoveling hundreds of millions of dollars out the door to anybody who said they could supply personal protective equipment such as masks and gloves. And there was very little oversight. We found at ProPublica, and I followed it, throughout the book, that pretty much anyone with an LLC or an email could get a major contract. We saw companies that were created on a Monday and had major deals by the end of the week.
Wow.
And throughout history, though, I think when there has been a national crisis that needs to be solved quickly, it's not unusual for government to throw money at it right, because you got to get it done. So is this a partisan corruption issue? Is it a structural issue?
It's a few things. I mean, we had members of both parties under two administrations had defunded the national stockpile for various, reasons, including political fighting. And, we had on top of that, the Trump administration really dragging its feet. So you expect some corruption, but this was going out so quickly. There was absolutely no vetting. Had any basic due diligence been done early on, a lot of these deals probably wouldn't have happened and taxpayers wouldn't have been screwed.
So what happened to some of these people? Like I know you referenced one man who, got a multi-million-dollar contract and didn't make one mask. He was supposed to make all these masks. Are these people prosecuted?
Some have been. Some were paid. The contractor who invited me along aboard the private jet he did make up having the masks. And I slowly realized that over about 72 hours on our trip. And after I reported that, federal prosecutors followed up and found, that he had misrepresented himself and actually had also scammed the Paycheck Protection Program, claiming he had employees along with another alleged scam. And he pleaded guilty and was convicted and now is in prison. The contractor you mentioned earlier with the test kits that were actually unsterile mini soda bottles that couldn't be used, that delayed testing in all 50 states and territories, FEMA actually accepted those and paid him. So contract experts we talked to said it's hard to make a case that he did anything wrong. He delivered a product and the federal government accepted it.
In the cases where it's appropriate, can the government get some of this money back by, whether it's seizing assets or charging fines or something? And how successful do you think they would be?
We're seeing that on a massive scale, not just with those early contractors in those really scary months in 2020, but with just widespread fraud that came about because of the Paycheck Protection Program, which had very few safeguards, $800 billion, a lot of it forgivable. We're seeing with unemployment benefits. And, the president in his State of the Union address announced a special prosecutor for pandemic fraud. So we're going to see a lot of these things where there's this monumental effort to really go back and figure out who did what and reclaim some of that money. But each of those is its own individual case, and it's going to take years.
So is our stockpile back up to where it should be so this doesn't happen again?
One would hope. We did eventually catch up to the need for N95s, those medical grade masks that are desperately needed for healthcare workers, and states have beefed up their own stockpile. I haven't seen any numbers on that, and of course we're still in this. It's not over. but the Biden administration has requested something like $88 billion to go into the Department of Health and Human Services, which oversees the CDC, pandemic response, and the stockpile. And they've outlined, measures where they want to be better prepared, having masks, countermeasures, things like that.
Well, David, thank you. The book is Pandemic Inc., and you can find David McSwain on his website and on Twitter and at ProPublica. Thanks, David.
Thank you.